Hello and welcome to the Sacred Gates Ascension podcast. My name is llura and welcome back to the channel. This little video now is on when you're having a difficult time connecting to your higher self, if you've already experienced your higher self and you're growing that connection to it. Now, there are times when you're going to feel that it's really difficult more than other times. And those difficult times are really important because it allows you to see where you're really at with your practice. So how much you suck, pretty much. We all suck at different levels and different stages in our practice. And being really honest about it is really important because it's the difference between progressing and getting better or not progressing and actually just kind of letting the whole thing fall away and fall apart and not getting to experience the level of connection that you deserve, that you want to make yourself be able to have in this lifetime. And so, in the darkest of nights, there is always light. And that light comes from your higher self. And that's one way of saying it. To get a little bit more mechanical about it, what that also means is that there are light frequencies, there are lighter, less dense energies that if you connect to those, you will find yourself in that light, in that metaphor, in that analogy. In the darkest of nights, there is light. And so what you want to do is when you're feeling like you're in the darkest of nights, whether it's just you're having a really difficult time during the day emotionally, or you might have a hormonal balance issues, you might have eaten something that's making you you may have eaten something that you regret that's just making you find it hard to get that equilibrium with your higher self and to feel it. You may have had someone judge you and that was really difficult for you. You may just be depressed. You may just be anxious. Whatever it is, your darkest night, your darkest moment, and you can't feel that light, reach for those light frequencies. Allow your mind to expand and observe and feel the sensations of light. We know what the sensations of light feels like because we know the contrasting feeling, which is dense, heavy emotion. The fact is, in your darkest night, in your darkest moment, whatever it might be, wherever it may have been coming from, what's caused it, you know that it's dense because you're like, you feel so heavy by it. So equally, the contrasting feeling is light. So in that darkest night, in your darkest moment, and you're trying to find that connection with your higher self, feel the sensations for light sensations, less dense sensations. They feel subtle, they feel higher, they bring you up into the light, so that the darkest of nights you will experience the light that is there, the light of your high self, the light of your multidimensional self, the light of your inner deity, the fact that you have that potential, that you find that in those moments. And so that's all you need to connect to in that moment, to feel for the light. So we always see these, all these memes and, analogies about the light, but actually the light literally is lighter. That's why the higher self is called the higher self, because it is literally higher. It's lighter because it's higher. It's less dense than the lower self. And the higher self wants to pull up your lower self, that is like a little child, like I always say, like lost in a supermarket, freaking out. The higher self has the ability to come and lift up and pull up your lower self. So the more integrated you are with your higher self, it's not that your lower self is shamed and punished and pushed away, just the way we wouldn't want to do that to a child. Instead, we raise that child up, we raise that lower self up, and that's what the higher self does. And Teshara, just like we want yoga to be that form, or whatever it is, if you've got a body practice, for me, Teshara is the art. So when I connect to my higher self knows the pathways in my body to adjust my body. And so my body is then adjusted to a more light alignment with my higher self. And from that point, everything changes mentally, emotionally, karmically, spiritually. So you can use your physical body also to help to raise your frequency to a higher level in that darkest night. So look for that light vibration. It's always there. And when you feel it, you pay attention when you practice it, so you don't just listen to what I say, you know, that you experience it for yourself, so you know that it's true when you're not listening to a video like this, but that when you connect to those light sensations, you actually feel more space, more expansion, more internal space opening up, and you feel much more room for all of who you are, your lower self, your higher self, and everything in between, and you actually feel softer, more nourished, lighter, more expansive, and thus more deep and more connected. And everyone feels better when they've got more space, more room, and all those things that felt like they were dense and compacting and contracting on you suddenly have more room too. Yeah, there's more breathing space. So give it a try, guys. Remember, when people talk about the light and the dark night of the soul and the light that is there with you, or any reference made to the light, it's really about the mechanics of feeling for literally lighter sensations, lighter qualities, and that I think is helpful so that it doesn't just stay this intellectual concept or word or proverb. It actually becomes something that you can absolutely use when you are suffering, so that you can decrease your suffering and get to know your higher self and allow it to become stronger and stronger and stronger. And you need to put in that willingness and that time so that when that darkest night comes or that difficult moment is there, you've got the strength and the interest, the willingness to drive you to push through all that other crap and to pull yourself out of that density through connecting to the light vibrations. Okay, bye-bye guys. Thanks for listening.